If you have an online business, you might have had to deal with spammy accounts in the past, either automated bots account or accounts that try to abuse your system. So today I'm going to show you how to integrate your Laravel application with a service called Clearbit Risk. It's an API that allows you to send your user data and it will give you back a score from 0 to 100, assessing the risk level of that account. Depending on the score of each user, you might decide to have an email verification or phone verification or even a manual review. To get us started, I've installed a fresh copy of Laravel. Next, we'll be using Laravel Auth Quick Start to give us a registration system to work with. If we go back to our website, you can see that we now have a link to register. I'll fill up the form and hit register. As you can see, we've now created a user and logged in. Back on the Clearbit website, we can sign up for a free account that will allow us up to 50,000 requests per month. At the time of this recording, you need to make a request to get access to the Risk API, however, it should be granted almost immediately. Once you're done, make sure to add your API key to your .env file. The Risk API works in two parts. First, there's a script that you need to add on every page of your website. So we'll open our app's default layout and add the script at the bottom. And let's fix the indentation. Next, we'll open our registration controller and go to the create method. This is the method responsible for creating the user, and we'll add a risk score to our user model. We will get the value from a method called getRiskScore inside the controller, and we'll pass in our data. Next, we'll create the method. At this point, we need to install Guzzle so we can make a post request to the Clearbit API. We'll go back to the top of the controller and make sure that we're using the Guzzle client. We'll start by creating a new client and we'll pass in the base URI for the Clearbit API. We'll also pass in our auth credentials. The username is the API key we have in our .env file. And the password is an empty string. First, we'll wrap our call inside of a try catch, and then we'll store the response and make a post request to the calculate endpoint. We'll create an options array and pass in our data. We'll first pass in the name of our user from the data array, their email address, which is required, and their IP address, which is also required. The Clearbit API will throw an exception if you try to pass in a local IP, so we'll first do a check to see if we're in production, and if so, we'll give it the request IP. And if not, we'll just give it a dummy IP. Next, we'll JSON decode the body of the response and return the risk score. Next, we will catch any exceptions so that our registration can go through even if there's a problem with the risk score, and we'll simply return null. We'll open our users table migration and add a risk score column. And we'll make it nullable. Next, we'll open our user model and add the risk score to our fillable array. Finally, we'll open the console and refresh our database. Now we'll go back to our app and register again. And as you can see, we're logged in. But now if we go to our database and our users table, there's our information and the risk score of 100. Now 100 is pretty much the worst score you could get, but there's an explanation on the Clearbit website and it has to do with signing up from a local host. So this will conclude the video. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe.